Y'all, I told y'all, sis is gonna be dropping gems, and you weren't gonna hear too much from me. I got a little input here and there, but like a little razzle dazzle. So we're gonna salt and pepper on that thing, but you know,
I got the paprika.
She got the paprika and the garlic powder and the onion powder and the Tony Sashery. She got all that. I just got the salt and pepper. You know, season that chicken up, okay?
Now let's come on with the slap your mama.
Yeah.
Come on with the slap your mama.
Top with a little Old Bay.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a quote from there from Meg Thee Stallion, but it's inappropriate. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, Meg, you heard she was.
Shout out to Meg. I'm a hottie. I love hotties. You know.
So I've seen this. This has been a big topic lately. I think within this last road to presidency for the upcoming election, I've seen this as a hot topic. It's been pretty controversial in my opinion with the discussion of it. And that question is, should black people be rewarded reparations?
Absolutely. You ain't got to finish.
Say no more.
Absolutely. Like when you think about the labor, the unpaid labor, the unpaid time in which all these American institutions have been built upon, how can you deny me reparations? I don't care what I want to do with it. It's mine. Yeah. It's my birthright. My people have paid in blood for it. Do you know how many banks were built on the back of enslaving? They used to insure slaves.
I know.
Insurance on a human being. You know, so I think that when you talk about banking industries, when you talk about when you talk about educational industries, a lot of these colleges are coming back now and saying, apologizing for slavery. Like, you got this land because you sold 40 slaves for it. 40 enslaved people. Forgot about that mind shift. You sold people to get the money to buy this place, this land, and you built an institution upon it. You don't owe their ancestors anything.
And which in many of these institutions, many of us were not allowed to.
Can't even get in. Yeah. Can't get in. Is that the tea? Like that? Yeah, I can't even get in here. But my people built this place. Now you'll hire me to clean it up. Woo! You'll hire me to do all these things, but you deny me a basic education. I have to go through Supreme Court rulings to get into these institutions. And then when I make my own institutions, HBCUs, you pissed off about that too. Like, what do you want?
What more do you? What Tyrese said? What more do you want from me?
Tyrese, we want you to stop acting. We really want you to stop acting. But
speaking of which, did you see my boy rolled up through
Black Panther?
And rest in peace to George Floyd. That was
George Floyd,
one of the most
Breonna Taylor,
inhumane things I have seen in quite some time, and the list goes on
and on.
And it's despicable. It disgusts me that I have yet to understand what is it. So before I jump into that, back in seriousness, I was saying, did you see Tyrese looking like a Black Panther?
He likes attention. He, are you really for the people or are you for photo ops?
I be trying.
He tried my nerves.
Oh.
But when you talk about George Floyd, the New Yorker has the cover, new cover of the New Yorker. It is hauntingly and historically factual, but it is so heartbreaking because a lot of people are saying, well, you weren't a slave, well, you weren't this.
I come from a lineage of.
I come from a lineage of resisting against enslavement. Yeah, and the institution of slavery doesn't end in 1865 because you have convict leasing, in which you're literally kidnapping people, putting charges on them for like vagrancy. If the Civil War just ended and I'm now free, but I don't have a job and I am looking for work, now the charge is vagrancy because I don't have a job. I don't belong to anybody. So now you put me in an Alabama prison and now I have to work on these railroads.
But pause.
That's convict leasing. That is a form of slavery. That's the loophole in the 13th Amendment.
Doesn't it sound a little bit similar to now when both men and women, and mostly, if we're being honest, they look like us, go to jail. They are then tagged with these felonies. They come home. So you tell me you locked me up for what I did because in most cases what I did was so I could survive, because it's what we're known to try and do. Then I come home and I have this felony tag to my name, and I'm yet still expected to
be a productive citizen, right?
Productive citizen. Yet.
Whatever that means.
Yet I can't get decent, equal employment to equal a living wage, which puts me back in a tailspin of now trying to figure out what I'm going to do to take care of me, my family, whatever the case may be.
So there's a movement now to defund the police. And I think that rubs a lot of people the wrong way, because you're like, oh, are they saying get rid of police? That's a different movement. That's the abolish police movement, which is different. Abolish police means there are better ways that we can rehabilitate people, because what we do know is, statistically speaking, putting people in jail does not stop crime. If it stopped crime, then after the first 3 people put in jail, right, people will say, oh, I'm not going to commit any crime because I know the consequence. People are willing to go to jail to survive. That's pretty messed up. Like, I'm willing to do time to survive out here. So the defund the police movement is about take some of their money,
their funding,
and shift it to other places. I shared on my Facebook page a few days ago about the ACLU. They released a study in 2015, 2016, and then another one last year about cops, no counselors. So in many schools, you have these resource officers, or just regular plainclothes police officers in schools. But some of these kids don't even have counselors, but they have cops in schools. They don't have social workers, but there's a cop in the school. They don't have a nurse every day, but you know who's there every day?
The cop.
That cop. So it's like, when you talk about, are we really talking about rehabilitating people and being a wraparound support for folks? Or are we talking about being punitive and punishment? Because those are 2 different things. What we know is a lot of these students, and this is from a lot of students, they come in with these issues which stem from white supremacy and systemic racism in their communities. So if Devontae is coming in here and he's upset today, do I send him to the officer and say, this little boy got an attitude, he needs to be dealt with? Or do I send him to a school counselor who can realize that, okay, talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, his lights are off. That's probably why he pissed off today. What can I do as a counselor to make sure not only he is okay, but their whole family is supported? That's what a counselor does. Cop generally doesn't do that. You gonna talk bad to her again? I'm gonna put these cuffs on you. I'm 12. What does that do to me to have these cuffs on me at 12? What does it do to me to feel like my whole existence is criminalized from the day I walk in the door? So when you're talking about jails don't work. They're a band-aid to a problem that needs surgery.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation about this because in Memphis, Tennessee, there's a group called Up the Vote 901, and they work to have these type of conversations. And it's like, jails, when people are placed in jail, and this is my personal opinion, when people are placed in jail, there is a habitual violence that occurs with them. We are just happy that, they're out of society, they're out of our sight. But these folks got to get out one day. And if I have been habitually violated in that jail system, I'm going to come out angry. And I'm going to unleash that rage onto anybody I see fit. So is jail for punishment, or is jail for rehabilitation? Which one are you saying jail is for? Or are we just trying to hide a problem?
Now, some would say, well, there are legitimately some bad people in the world that...
I would agree. There are people who have done bad acts. There are people who deserve to have some type of restorative practice for what they've done. So, if I steal your $100, the appropriate thing would be to what? Give that $100 back, right? If I take a life, that's something you can't give back. Right. So what happens in that instance? If I harm somebody sexually, what should happen then? Yeah. And those are conversations I feel like people should be having. Yeah. But if our only thing in this life is just throw them in jail, throw away the key, that rhetoric locks up more of us than anybody else. So I think it's very, very hard for some people to wrap their minds around what would this world look like without prisons? What would this world look like without cages? And that's a scary thought, right? But the more that we research things and the more that we open our minds to different forms of healing our communities, I think that's a valid point. Like, what are we going to do? Because again, if jails worked, the recidivism rate would be much higher, right? People would find jobs and say, I'm never going back. But what we know is there is not a lot of opportunity, which is probably why people landed in jail.
Yeah, I get that. I agree that jail is not the most rehabilitative place for many things, and some of these crimes are so trivial that I think because jail is a big business, that's why jail.
It's a huge business. So when you talk about convict leasing, right, it's from there. I know, and we laugh at the movie Life, but Life is one of those movies where it's like, when you sit back and think about it and analyze that film, you took somebody's life for nothing. Yeah. You put these two men in jail, and then you see throughout the film, that movie in Shawshank Redemption, where these people are basically working for peon wages, but somebody's getting a kickback from it. Yeah. So I think when we analyze those things, it's like, who does jail really benefit?
I'm going to say, this is personal opinion. I do think in some cases jail is necessary when I think about serial killers and things that are very harmful to society.
When you think about people who you don't think can be transformed.
Right. Mm-hmm. There are some people who, like when I think about people locked up on minor weed offenses, when now weed is a big business.
Oh, wow. I can go to New York and go to this trendy white restaurant where we're eating,
you think about Denver, who has bud and breakfasts, and
right, it's trendy,
right,
and it's white, and people are becoming millionaires off of it. But there are people in jail.
But why though? Because they found a way to.
It's a mix. I can tax it. It's trendy.
It was only a matter of time. They had to find a way. How can I receive monetization from the legalization of this? And it's not legal everywhere yet, but most of the things in this world comes down to the almighty dollar.
Dispensaries are a big thing. I visited a few. But dispensaries are a big thing, and they're a big business. So it's like, why not free people who are in jail for these charges?
I just don't think that's right.
These trivial charges, so there's just so much to talk about with our experience, but that's why I always say resistance is important.
Okay. So last question. We bring this to a close.
Okay.
Did the younger Z envision the current Z being an emerging leader, a master teacher, historian, and all-around culture enforcer? Just to name a few. I.e. a culturalista.
I'm going to get that on a shirt.
I got you, sis. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and trademark that.
Culturalista.
Because you heard it here first. So don't y'all run out there, because my trademark going to be pending, okay? And yes, I said gonna be.
No, so it'll be culturalista, and my personal slogan, I curate the culture. So it'll be together.
No, sis, you can't tell them that part.
Oh, okay. So don't steal our ideas.
Because you heard it here first, and we going to come after you. We got proof.
We got lawyers on retainer. We really don't, but whatever.
Oh, I know plenty of lawyers.
Molly Carter is coming for you. You know who Molly Carter is? You ever been to where they in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Molly Carter in Los Angeles, Insecure reference.
Yes.
She's gonna come after you. We know her personally.
We know her. So did the current Z envision younger Z?
The younger Z envision current Z.
Yeah. The younger Z, my bad girl, check me. The younger Z envisioned the current Z being this culture enforcer, this historian, master teacher, because you've done some things.
I don't think I envision my life how it is. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
I think it's the beauty of growing up.
Yeah.
I think that I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, because I always wanted to dress cute. And I love to talk. So I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I was in Future Teachers of America in high school.
Yeah.
Never went to any meetings, but I was in Future Teachers of America. So I knew I wanted to teach. But I think my love for African American history started very early. I would read books about, one of my favorite people was Daisy Bates.
Okay.
Who helped with the Little Rock Nine in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Lena Horne. Those were my two biggest influences as a young person. When I got to college, it became all about Ida B. Wells. Like, it was my awakening. And I love Ida B. Yeah. Like, she kept at Winchester. She bit a man a conductor tried to put her on the back of the train. She is all around.
She sounded gangster.
She was like a thug. And I don't mean to say that like she's a thug. But she is someone I really, see, I told you. She's one. She is somebody I really look up to, from her words to her actions to the way she lived her personal life. So I think really my great awakening was in college. My second semester at the University of Memphis, we saw Sankofa for the first time. Mm-hmm. And Sankofa is what I live my life by. So it's a West African proverb that basically says it is not taboo to look back on the things of the past while bringing the best of that into your future. So it's characterized as like this bird flying forward, but its head is turned backwards and it has an egg in its mouth. So take those lessons from the past, apply those to the future. So I think my great awakening came when I saw that film. And I'm like, I have a responsibility to know history from my people's perspective, not what the master narrative is. What were my people talking about? How did they experience this this break in the diaspora? How did they realize and come to the realization that we are resisting in a foreign land and we don't know nothing about it? How are we going to craft our life? So I think that younger Z knew that she would be talking, but she just didn't know how she would use her voice and where her voice would be. But as I look back on the years that have passed, I am grateful that I had those professors and I had that support system. Because honestly, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to be honest, when I told my parents and people I knew that my major was African American Studies, I got a whole lot of, you just playing in school. Like, you black, what you need to know. Yeah. And it's just so much that we don't know about our history. Absolutely. And our history, of course, does not start with involuntary servitude. There's a whole continent we don't know about and we don't study. And I think that it's important that we, again, decolonize our minds and go back Sankofa and go back to the past. What lessons have we failed to learn? What strategies can we pick up and apply to where we are in this instance? Because nothing is new under the sun. Nothing. That's one of my favorite biblical verses, nothing. Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing. Everything that has happened is coming back again. So our job, my job on the front line is to not only educate myself, but educate students. And also look at those strategies that have been used for centuries. Police brutality is nothing new. No. Racism is nothing new. State-sanctioned violence from your government is nothing new. These police officers getting off is nothing new. Lynching is nothing new. But what we can do is learn those lessons and craft better strategies or build upon those that our ancestors have laid down for us. Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all. So, again, Black Lives Matter. Make sure you're comfortable saying that. Make sure the people that you're around are saying that. Your pastors, your people in your community, yourself. It is a beautiful mantra. Your life matters. Black art matters. Black lives matter. Black children matter. Black marriages matter. Yes. Black folks matter. And when we walk in that and we are unafraid to use that as a rallying call, I think folks should be shaking their boots.
Yes, I told y'all. Man, I told y'all she was going to be dropping gems, dropping knowledge. Like, I don't... Listen, this girl, you see why she a master teacher? Yo, she even used to work at the Civil Rights Museum. And by the way, if you slide through Memphis,
visit the National Civil Rights Museum. That's 450 Mulberry Street. I still know the address. It's a wonderful cultural institution in Memphis, Tennessee. It is the site of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The government, excuse me. The government has a lot of blood on its hands. Fred Hampton, Medgar Evers.
And
this goes on and on.
Since we getting down, y'all. Well, y'all. And you see why she's a master teacher. Do you listen? I'm sitting here as if I don't hear her talk all the time, but I'm just like, sis. Listen, you want to get some more of these gems? She's gonna tell you where you can find her on Facebook, and Instagram. I'm also going to make sure I include that information in the description, because you know y'all don't read the description, but it will be there. You hear me say it will be there. But I'm going to let her tell you where you can find her. She's always dropping this type of content knowledge, dropping gems, and sometimes she's just being an all-around comedian because she's silly as hell. That's just what she do.
I am a corny joke connoisseur. So you will see that on my pages as well. But Facebook, I am Ziara Smith, Ziara. Please make sure you have a picture of yourself. I don't want, the feds following me and watching me, trying to build a case. FBI file, COINTELPRO. And on Instagram, I am Golden Girl Z. Golden Girl Z. That's all one name tag.
And she loved the Golden Girls.
I love the Golden Girls. Like, I know I talk about black folks all the time, but the Golden Girls is classic. It's one of my favorite shows, and I am an old lady at heart. So yes, I am Golden.
Cause she wore them old lady Skechers shoes, y'all.
Look, listen,
Skechers ones the teachers be wearing.
Skechers, and this is a plug for Skechers. I wear Skechers. They are the official shoe of the movement. So if you're talking about, resisting, what must you have? You must have support. These shoes are supportive. Look at this support. They're stylish. They match my outfit. I can walk at a protest. I can, go to jail in them. I can slip them off when I'm being processed. So Skechers, and this is a plug for Skechers. If you want to, put your money where your mouth is. Black Lives Matter. Get these protesters some Skechers. Again, Skechers, it's like walking on air. This outdoor lifestyle. So when you're outdoors protesting, you're saying, F the cops. You can do so in a stylish manner in your Skechers.
Ain't nothing stylish about them.
They're stylish,
Skechers, if you want to sponsor this video, I am all for it. But
if you know that a part of your resistance is being a part of a protest, make sure your ankles are protected. Make sure your knees are protected. Your back is protected, because you're going to be standing around for a while. So invest in some Skechers, they may not be Air Jordans, but how long can I walk at a march? And you see how long they can walk in Jordans.
Meanwhile, we was the same ones that used to talk about the teachers when we was in school that wore them sandals.
I am a teacher and an educator who is on her feet all day. So I need supportive shoes. I
bet the kids be rocking you, don't it?
First of all, I can rock in these sandals a long way.
Them kids be checking you,
I believe in being culturally competent, so I can do a clap back with them in a respectful manner, of course. So yes, get you some Skechers, sis. Your ankles will thank you. Skechers are for the ancestors. I'm just gonna leave it there.
All right, y'all.
Let me review their board to make sure they're for Black Lives, though. Are there any black brands with shoes like this? I really do want to support, but my ankles need support, please. My knees need support. My back needs support. I'm a little top heavy.
Y'all, on that note,
leave any questions in the comments. Leave any questions in the comments. I'll respond to them. I'm also on YouTube. Don't know my YouTube name, but I will respond to them when she uploads this video.
And there you have it. And peace.
Black excellence. Black Lives Matter.
We out, y'all.
All Black Lives Matter.